everyone, and welcome back. This is the South 78 Football Show. We are back from the Raising Cane's in Byron, Mississippi. I am Trellis Williams. With me once again is Coach Chris Thigpen of the Terry Bulldogs football team. Right now, the Bulldogs 6-2 on the season, and now they're about to take on the Hattiesburg Tigers this week at home for senior night and also to host an undefeated opponent. But first, we want to do a little bit of recapping from a couple weeks back as we were out for a little bit. Talking about Pearl River Central game.
Right.
That was a game that was, more of a challenge than it was last year against a team like that. They have a new coach, and they're better this year.
Right.
So just kind of take us through that game and how you pulled off that win.
Well, it was our first time, as you said, playing there. It was our first time going there.
Yep.
Terry has never played them there. And then last season was the first time actually playing them. So we knew we had to go on the road, in a place we hadn't played before that was unfamiliar to us. And, when we got there, it just kind of had that feeling like it was going to be one of those games. And it certainly turned out to be such. But I'm proud of our guys. We left school early that day. We stopped in Hattiesburg and we ate, and then we got back on the road. And, the trip was smooth. We arrived around the time I thought we would. They had, a really good field, really good game day set up, for the visiting team. And so, Coach Feaster and his staff did a great job of preparing their team and, having those guys ready to compete against us. And so they did that. I thought Rondé Baker had a big game running the football. Brady had a really good game of throwing incredible passes and leading the offense. And my offensive line and D-line was dominant, and I think that was the difference in the game. We overcame a lot of penalties a lot of calls that went our way, especially on the defensive side. And I was not pleased with the officiating. And so I'm sure a lot of people probably talked about that. We got a crew that was very unfamiliar to us. Maybe that was on the coast. And so, I never go into a game thinking officiating would be an issue, because I appreciate what those guys do. I know it's not a lot of young people going into that career field, and sometimes I think you're just kind of left with the best of the rest. And you could be in Central Mississippi, you could be on the coast, you could be in the Delta, you could be in the Pine Belt, you could be in North Mississippi or Meridian, and it's unfortunate sometimes. A lot of times those guys like to insert themselves into the game.
Yep.
And instead of allowing the players to, play and the outcome to come more naturally. And so, but our players overcame adversity. They handled it well, and we got out of there with the win.
And obviously I was not able to be there as the rehearsal dinner from a wedding that happened the next day, but I listened to it right after we ate the dinner. I was listening to it on the stream, the audio stream that they had going on there at Pearl River Central, and at halftime it was 21-14, and I know we made a couple of big plays there in that second half. Just kind of talk about the big plays that were made and just taking on that kind of adversity and overcoming it.
Yeah, we felt that they kind of extended their drives offensively to get it to 21-14, and then we had 2 touchdowns called back. So
I heard that in the process. Yeah,
I mean it was really bad, and so I told the coaches, I said, guys, in 15 years of coaching, I've never been so emotionally upset, during the game, because I always try to keep my cool.
Yeah.
But that got me to another level and a place I don't want to have to go. But the kids handled it well. But that's why really good officiating isn't important. In all high school contests, not just football games. There was a scuffle there at the end.
Yeah.
But I thought with the proper officiating, that doesn't happen. I told him, I said, look, man, the game is won. We're trying to get out of here. You don't have to, keep making calls to extend the game. And so, but, that's over and done with now. We got back on the road. We got our kids out of there. We got a region win which we needed.
Absolutely.
And so, um, this week we have a chance to control our own destiny. Now with that being said, we have a great team coming in Hattiesburg Tigers and Coach Vance, who's the winningest coach there in Hattiesburg history, and a guy that's known across the state. So his program is rock solid, and a lot of things that they do and they have accomplished over his tenure. A lot of the things that I'm trying to accomplish, at Terry. So there's a lot of respect for him, his team, his players, and what they
Yep.
do. His son is quarterback. He have a really experienced staff that does a really good job with their team, and it shows up on film. And so we've had a bye. After Pearl River Central, we had a bye, and so we feel that we have our team most prepared to play on Friday.
Now, before we dive into the Hattiesburg matchup coming up on Friday, you are coming off a bye week. Just give us an injury report on just kind of how your guys are looking heading into this game, because it's a big game.
Right. Thankfully for us, there are no injuries to report.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the bye week kind of helped us, and that was the goal, to try to get to the bye. So around week 10, you're going to have some guys with bumps and bruises.
Yep.
But thankfully for us, we don't have anyone that's injured. And so all of our guys that we are expecting to play, they're geared up and ready to go. And so, I told the seniors, hey, it's all about how you want to be remembered. Same way with the team. We're one game ahead of where we were last year in terms of wins for the season. And so, I'm proud of this team, because I don't think they are as talented as we were last year, but collectively they play a whole lot better together. This staff has really done a really good job of coaching together, and also supporting what I do from a vision standpoint as head coach. And so it's showing up on the field, and so I think that's something all Bulldog fans should be proud of.
Okay, so let's dive into the Hattiesburg matchup. So the Tigers, obviously undefeated on the season, 8-0. You guys are 6-2. Both losses that we have on the season, quality teams, West Jones and Clinton. Hattiesburg has been able to win some close games against some quality teams. They beat Petal 7-3, beat
Right.
Oak Grove 27-21, and so they've got a good resume
Right.
behind them. But this Terry team, as I've seen in the years of doing Terry, we can win.
That's right.
We can win.
That's right, and you got to believe that you can win. And that's the thing, a lot with our team and where we are, from a program standpoint, is we don't have that traditional name,
Yeah.
or that tradition, that history of football tradition that some schools have. And so, as head coach and as coaches, not only do you have to try to coach and develop your team and make sure you got really good scheme and you got them really prepared, but there's also a psychological side that you got to try to work with your team and your players on. So when they go into the game, their psychological disposition is, hey, this team puts their pants on just like us. They like some things just like us. So the difference is not the physical part, but the difference is the mental part, and and how you approach yourself and how you see yourself. And so a lot of what I try to do as head coach, even on the social media side, is try to pump confidence in the players, because if you've gone so long without success, sometimes you don't believe that you are worthy of winning and that you can win. And so Hattiesburg is like a blue blood program that's been around a very long time. Our school came together in 1996, so it's not a lot of football history and tradition there. So, but I would rather be nowhere than where we are now, no other place than where we are now. We're on the rise. We get this team at home. We've played them before last year, and we thought last year that was probably one of our worst Friday night
Yeah.
performances. And so, we want to go out and give them our best game. We want to go out and give them our best game. Week 10 at home, senior night. So there's a lot to play for, and we'll see where the chips may fall. After Friday night.
Yeah, so you have a big home game here. Last home game was against West Jones, a game that you end up losing 38-21. But one thing that was missing in that West Jones game was the packed crowd that you usually have at Bulldog Field.
Right.
Do you expect and do you make your appeal to the Bulldog fans to show up on Friday night?
Yeah, we expect to have a capacity crowd. Friday night.
And it's important.
It's a very important game. Could be potentially our last home game. If we win Friday and we win the next week, we'll have a chance to have possibly a home playoff game. So, that's one of our goals. But also, we want to send our senior football players. We have senior band members. We have senior cheerleaders out on a really good note, and we want to give them something to remember their senior year. And hey, you're not playing a cupcake. You're playing a number 3 team in the state. That's all classifications. That's not just 6A.
Yeah, no, that's
all classifications. So it's just like I told the team, man, these are the games, if you're a player, you should want to play in and play well in. And so I'm just getting excited, thinking about that possibility, because I know we have a really, really good team that's coming in. So.
Yeah, and with that win against Pearl River Central, you really put yourself in the driver's seat on being able to make the playoffs.
Right.
And so, looking forward, how important is a game like this, a win like this, to build the confidence going into the playoffs that you know that if you can beat Hattiesburg, you can beat just about anybody?
That's right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. They're definitely, maybe right now, they're probably from a talent perspective, maybe with a top team in 6A.
Yeah.
When you look at them from a defensive line, their defensive line is probably their strongest unit on the team. Their defensive line is rock solid. They're just as good as probably West Jones was last year up front. Their linebackers are really good, and their secondary is really good. And then on the offensive side, they have a 5-star in Tristan Keys, a wide receiver that played last year. He's a superb athlete. Football, track, and basketball guy. So, but he's a really good football player, and so they have a lot of talent. And we have to come ready to play.
Yes, and so that game will be at Bulldog Field on Friday night, kickoff at 7 p.m. The Terry Bulldogs host the Hattiesburg Tigers. Bulldogs sitting at 6-2, Hattiesburg sitting at 8-0. And any final thoughts, Coach?
Yes, we'll also have our senior appreciation for all of our student athletes. Football, recognizing them, we'll start at 6:25. We'll do a father-son pat and go on our end of the field. So we've done it the past few seasons. We invite the dads or the uncles or granddads, or whoever would like to come out with the players, to do the pat and go catch drill for about 5 minutes, and then we'll have everyone else lined up at 6:30 ready to go, ready to call out and be recognized. And then I believe cheer, band, and maybe even JROTC go at halftime. So, we have a lot of things going on this Friday. So we want everybody to come out and support not only the football team, but all of Terry High School.
For sure. So, folks, please be sure to come out. And so 6:25 is when we start that senior appreciation moment. And then 7 p.m. is the kickoff. And we'll also be live on the TSJW Network YouTube channel. So be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and be sure to like this video. We also appreciate Tire Depot for sponsoring the South 78 Football Show. Folks, we appreciate you joining us. This is Coach Chris Thigpen of the Terry Bulldogs. I'm Trellis Williams. We out.